We are good to go.
All
Five,
right.
4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Welcome back to the Boston Sports Brothers. We got Big E and myself here recording today. We got Plotty over on the West Coast doing a little bit of work stuff. We got Josh celebrating our Happy New Year. Happy New Year to our tribe. So Shana Tova to all that's listening. Shana Tova. And Big Gabe's got his wedding coming up. So everybody's busy, but we got a lot of Boston sports stuff to talk about. It's in the heat of things, especially for the Sox. But let's just jump right into the Patriots because we got to talk about that game.
Yeah, and we got two of our best bros here. We got Sammy K and we got Big E here, or maybe Slimmy, depending on who you are. So we're excited to be here and spread the news. Some good, some bad. Let's start with the bad. Let's talk about the New England Patriots, who are 1-2. As the person who was at the game on Sunday, boots on the ground,
Boots on the ground, baby.
one of the most frustrating games I've ever watched as a fan, and probably the most frustrating game that I've ever seen in person. That was a game that the Patriots literally gave away. I literally walked out of there and I was like, if I'm a Steelers fan, I would feel dirty about getting this win. They literally got five turnovers, four fumbles, one pick, and then there was also a failed fourth down conversion. Like literally, the Patriots running backs, Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson, cannot hold on to the ball. And the funny thing is, it's funny, even in our chat, I think I said, like, it might have been in our chat, or if not, it was one of my other group chats. But I said, like, as soon as Antonio Gibson got put in the game, I said, watch, he's going to fumble too. Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson, going back last season and the season before, so the 2024 and 2023 season, they're the two leaders in the league as far as fumbling from the running back position. So, as far as I'm concerned, those guys should not be playing anymore. And the problem is that we only have one other running back on the roster, the rookie Trayvon Henderson. Trayvon Henderson, I think, is clearly the best back, um, but it's kind of difficult to say, hey, we got to cut these guys with no one else on there. Honestly, I would take
And
someone
the
off the
depth chart.
street. I'd take someone off the street at this point because these guys are just so bad. Um,
And and what's so frustrating though is they not only do they lose the game, but they dominated on the field. We're talking 369 yards of total offense to 203. First downs, they had 26, Pittsburgh had 17. They were 6 of 13 on third downs, and you know you bring up the failed fourth conversion, but they were a ballsy 4 for 5 on fourth downs. And on top of that, they held onto the ball for, you know, 3 minutes and 20 seconds over a half an hour versus 26 minutes and 40 seconds for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, like you said, walking out of that stadium as a Pittsburgh fan must have felt really shitty because they dominated the game, but they just felt lost. And it was, I there was progression made, but there was also a couple steps taken back from guys that are veterans. I'm sorry, Morgan Moses, I believe, had three or four holding penalties that really kind of screwed us. Which he'll clean up. He's in a new system. It's whatever. He'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about it. Um, but Antonio Gibson and Ramondre, you can't be dropping the ball like that. That's really honestly what lost us the game, in my opinion.
I don't think Drake May lost us the game either. I think there was a lot of talk about like
269 yards.
a lot of people say like he's Drake maybe. I saw someone say that on I think it was Bill Simmons' podcast. I think Cousin Sal said that as like a nickname for him, which I think Bill Simmons thought was funny, but he's like, I'm not gonna call him that. And yeah, like it is kind of a little bit funny, but like he wasn't the reason that they lost the game. It was our running backs and the ineptitude from what they could do. Yes, Drake threw a pick in the end zone, which was inexcusable and something that I know he wishes he could have had back. But Ramondre fumbling in the end zone, I mean, they
That's
literally
seven
went on,
points
they literally, I think, went 94 yards to drive all the way down there and just
to
fumble and
fumble the
touchback.
ball.
So,
I
like,
at one point I wanted to text you guys and be like, I think we were like 20 yards out, and I was like, do we just kick a field goal and take the points? Like, because I don't feel comfortable with them in the red zone right now, which I mean is something that they can clearly um, tidy up with the report that he's building with Hunter Henry, and hopefully soon to be with Stephon Diggs. Kayshon Boutte obviously just is a beast in himself, but
He
again,
was kind of
there's
nowhere. He was kind of nowhere on Sunday though, to be honest. I was a little
yeah,
like, where's
he had
Keyshawn
a
Boutte?
couple catches, but other than that, it wasn't really anything too
Yeah,
crazy.
I think despite the disappointment and the things that really sucked about the game, and there were a lot, I think there were a couple things that were good though. And I think the things that were good that I want to just like kind of highlight is the defense played great, specifically Robert Spillane, who I
Hmm.
think he really did not look great in the first two games. Unfortunately, we didn't get to watch most of the first game against the Raiders due to
Hmm.
um, regional rights for because we were down in Texas, so we didn't get the game. So, all intents and purposes, I heard that he wasn't great in that game. And then we saw in the game against Miami, him being matched up against, uh, A-Chain, probably not the greatest matchup for him, but he looked awesome and looked like the Robert Spillane that the Patriots wanted to sign over the offseason. So that looked really good. And then the other thing I think you hit on it as well was Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is such a beast and such a mismatch against some defenses because he does have speed, he can block on the line, and he's got good hands. He's great in the red zone. So he's really our red zone target right now. Hopefully someone else like, Stephon Diggs steps on up. But I think the big thing that I take away from this game is play Trevion Henderson, give Kyle Williams an opportunity to see what he can do as well. He had a couple. He was on the field for a couple plays, made I think one catch, but it was nice to see him out there. He's someone who I think is electric and gives us a little bit of a different element than what we see. You know, there are some guys on the team that I think I'm just like over and done with. Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson. I'd also throw like Pop Douglas in there. Pop Douglas to me just really hasn't done anything yet. I know he's been decent in the past, but this is a what have you done for me anytime? What have you done for me lately league? And I don't know what he's done for us lately that's been that great.
I agree. No, I agree with everything that you said there. Pops made a couple of catches throughout the three games here and there and to kind of, boost momentum on a drive. But other than that, there really hasn't been anything there from him on his side. Um, really, it's about now that we've got, Will Campbell kind of solid at left tackle and Morgan Moses over on the right hand side. It's an opportunity to now build, like we said, from within the trenches. We knew that this team wasn't going to be pretty looking. Ramondre Stevenson had a great game against me in fantasy, but then completely shit the bed this past week, which I could have told you I saw coming because that's exactly what happened to me. Um, is it going to continue to happen? Yeah, it's going to continue to happen. This isn't something that's just, you know, out of the blue and an anomaly. I don't think it's something you can fix in practice. When it's game time and you got someone, coming in flying, trying to punch the ball out of your hand, that's exactly what's happening. Um, can't really practice for that. So I don't know what the Patriots are going to do moving forward as far as a running back goes. They need to figure something out. Like you said, Trevion Henderson's probably their best choice and really their only choice at this point, and have Ramondre and Antonio Gibson come in on third downs and stuff like that. But even then, now you're risking them coming in on a third down and chopping the balls, and that's not something that you want to do.
What's better, them
So
them dropping the ball on first down, second down, or third down? Doesn't matter. Sucks either way.
so now the defense knows what's coming and they can play man and or even double up on someone and kind of close out the field for Drake and that kind of eliminates things for him and makes things even more tougher on him. So having a competent running back only aids to Drake's growth and development as a player in the league. So that's something the Patriots do need to figure out. And hopefully Travion Henderson is the answer.
I mean, I'm just so disappointed because, like, I'm not disappointed that we took Kyle Williams because I think Kyle Williams is going to be a stud. What I'm disappointed is that we didn't get Cam Scatabo because we could have gotten Trayvon Henderson and Cam Scatabo, and we could have had a lightning and thunder combination that would be So amazing with those two rookies. I'm not sure if you saw Scatabo on the Giants play on Monday, but he looked great. Like, why can't we get another running back like that to go with our rookie running back? We could have. It's frustrating. But we
That's
turn the
very
page.
frustrating.
We turn the page. We look ahead. We have the Carolina Panthers coming up this week. The Carolina Panthers, who absolutely crushed the Atlanta Falcons. So, can can the Patriots win this week and get back to 2-2 and get back to 500? Yeah, they can. But let's not look ahead from what we have after there. Let's focus on this game. But we got a big matchup coming up right after that, so against Buffalo. So we better lock in against Carolina, get a win, because getting a win against Buffalo is going to be not easy.
And even that Carolina game's not going to be in the walk in the park. I'll tell you that right now. Carolina's going to put up a fight. They're NFL players at the end of the day. And we have some holes that have been exposed. TJ Watt even said it after the game, I think, to Phil Perry, I believe. He said, yeah, we were going through videos and Tomlin pulled up videos of Ramondre Stevenson fumbling from last year and Antonio Gibson fumbling from last year, and what happened?
Lots of
They
fumbles.
fumbled.
Lots of
So
fumbles.
Vrabel's got to
Oh,
figure out a way to clean that up. I feel like he will. He's worked with Derrick Henry in the past, who's obviously a different kind of beast. I'm not comparing him to anyone on our team at all whatsoever. I'm just saying he's worked with like a running back that is very skilled. So he might know a thing or two as far as coaching these guys, and hopefully he
I mean,
does.
Stevenson and Gibson have PTFD. They have post-traumatic fumble disorder. Like that's literally what it is. It's not even stress disorder. It's fumble disorder. It's disgusting. Not to make
Yeah.
fun of PTSD because that's not cool. I'm just saying
No.
they have fumble
No.
disorder.
They have a fumble disorder. They fumble the ball. But
Well,
moving on
well,
to a
I
team
think,
that's
yeah,
actually in contention, and I was probably the only one that was going to say this at the beginning of the season that we would have meaningful baseball right now. But teams currently 86 and 71. They're, I believe, 4 games behind Toronto. Depending upon what happens tonight, the Yankees could take first place, and we could go 3 games behind uh, New York if we end up winning. Currently, it's the end of the seventh. Garrett Crochet, I believe, struck out either 4 or 5 through 6 innings of ball. So that's great. We're up 4-0. We took the game yesterday against the Blue Jays, which was huge. Cleveland came out of nowhere. Did not see that happening. People saying the most epic September collapse ever in MLB history, and it's got me
for
thinking
Detroit,
back to yeah, but it's got me thinking back to what was it, 2013? No,
10,
2012,
10.
2010, 2010 when they just
Chicken
just
and beer.
completely just yeah, and I don't think you can compare the Detroit collapse to that. A, because the season hasn't ended yet, and B, because our season was ended on an Evan Longoria walk-off home run. So it literally can't get any worse than that. Um, so either way, I mean, I do find it interesting. Will we be playing to Detroit at the right time? Hopefully. I'm hoping so. Um, I'm hoping they continue the slide. There's a slight possibility we could end up winning the AL East if it works out in our favor. The Yankees got to lose a couple of games when we win, but remember, we got that tiebreaker. So if it's at the end of the, year, we're tied up with the Yankees, we get that nod and the Yankees become the wild card spot.
All intents and purposes, let's say that like the Sox don't win the AL East. I think that's a small percentage at this point. So
Very
let's be
small.
realistic. It could happen for sure. Like I don't want to poo-poo that. But between the Yankees and the Blue Jays, who would you rather see as the wild card team with the Red Sox? I think that's a good question.
I mean, it's tough. We're playing the Blue Jays really well right now. They kind of beat us up a little bit in the beginning of the season, so that kind of scares me. There's no Bo Bichette. He's out. He's done for the rest of the year. He's was
Yep.
their leading hitter in pretty much almost every category besides home runs. Um, So I don't know. That's a tough question because you have Aaron Judge, who's this crazy fucking hitter, but he doesn't do anything in the postseason. So do I want to see him? Kind of, but do you really want to say you want to see Aaron Judge?
And also,
Not really.
just because he hasn't done it in the past doesn't mean he can't do it now. And I think, he's one of those guys where, yeah, you're right, he hasn't done it in the past, but he's going to continue to get more opportunities because the Yankees are going to continue to spend money and do what they need to do to be competitive. And eventually he's going to break through, right? And
That's
hopefully it's
and
not
I
now.
was I was about to just say that it's going to be one of those things just where with Tatum and Brown, they just kept getting to like this point where they was just like I can't get over the hump, I can't get over the hump, I can't get over the hump, and then they got over the hump. As a Sox fan, do I want to see the Yankees get over the hump? Absolutely not. But I feel like Aaron Judge is too good of a player for them not to win it. But the thing is they don't have the starting pitching and the bullpen depth that I think that they need to go further through. So I would much rather play them at the end of the day.
Unpopular opinion, I think I'd rather play the Blue Jays in the wild card round, hopefully beat them in the wild card round, and then have a 7 game series against the Yankees in the next round. To me, I think that that's the most fun conclusion because anything that we can do to stoke up the Red Sox Yankees rivalry is a good thing for not just baseball, but I think for all of sports, honestly. And listen, I'm coming here as probably out of all the guys on the podcast, least interested in the Red Sox, like still get up for Yankees Red Sox. Like I especially in the postseason. Like that is always magical. Brings me back to, '03, '04, 2021. There was that playoff series we had against them. Even going back to like when we were kids, '99. I remember that where Pedro versus Clemens game one. Like there's a long history here and it's been much better for the Red Sox over the last 20 some odd years than it has been for the Yankees. And let's hope that that luck continues to go our way.
I 100% wholeheartedly agree. If there's anything more that I love more than a Boston Red Sox win, it's the Yankees loss. Currently, right now, I think I want them to. No, we don't want them to win. We want them to
No,
lose.
we want them
We
to
want them
lose,
to lose. We want them to
but
lose.
the thing is, they have a pretty cakewalk uh, schedule for the rest of the season, and the Red Sox have a very difficult one because
Yeah.
after the 3 game set against the Blue Jays, they got a 3 game set against
But
Detroit, which is not easy.
that brings me to my next point. Are we catching Detroit at the right time?
We might be.
Because they're sliding and they're sliding hard. They're down six. They're down start not six. Two, three, oh sorry, 3-1 in the top of the sixth against
Oof.
Cleveland at Cleveland. So if Cleveland wins, Cleveland will take over first place. And if we keep going the way that we're going, we have man on first, man on second in the top of the eighth. Um, we'll be in prime position. At this point, the Red Sox win to get in. They control their destiny.
Literally, this is wild. In the last 10 games, not including the game that's currently taking place between Cleveland and Detroit, Cleveland 9-1, Detroit 1-9. That is, oh, you want to talk about a choke. And also, credit to Cleveland. Like, what a way to play down the stretch and like earn your way into the playoffs. Because, listen, at this point, yes, Houston has an opportunity to potentially make it, but the odds of them making it are not great. They're like basically 43% to make it. The Red Sox have about a 95.9% chance as of today. This is before the game goes final. And then both
Hmm.
Cleveland and Detroit are at 80%. So there's a great chance that both of those teams are going to make it. And it looks like the odd team out in the AL right now is going to be Houston, but hey, they still have a chance. So their chance is still not there, not gone yet. But man, I think what a great way for the season to end for baseball with how competitive it is in the AL East right now. And not just AL East, but the AL, just with all the competition for the wild card. This is exactly what baseball drew on up when they expanded the wild card to 3 teams.
Yeah, and just to really touch on the postseason and pitching again, the one thing that I love about our chances, and I'm not being a Red Sox homer because this is a Boston sports podcast, but you look at the rotations out there. Over the course of the season, there really hasn't been a better 1, 2, 3 than Crochet, Giolito, and Bayo. So I feel extremely confident with those three guys going out there. Yes, Crochet is pitching over 200 innings for the first time in his career, knock on wood. I think he's at 198 or something like that right now. So he's got a couple more to go before he reaches 200. But still, that's if we can ride him and get decently far and Roman Anthony comes back, we got a shot. We got a
I
really
think
good shot.
I think the AL is wide open too because like if you look at all the records of all these teams, a lot of these teams are just barely going to hit 90 wins. Whereas
Neck and neck.
you look at the National League, like there's the cream of the crop there. Like they have some clear front runners. Milwaukee's been absolutely crushing it. Philly's
80
been
plus wins, 90 wins now.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're 96 and 92 for those two teams. You have the
Yeah.
Dodgers who, are just crazy with talent. Right behind them at 88, San Diego's 87, Chicago 88. Like those are the cream of the crop out west. And yes, I know that there are some teams out in the AL that are hovering right around there, but those teams have been in the driver's seat for all season. Whereas, yeah, Toronto was in the driver's seat for a long time. But the Yankees and the Red Sox have been right on their heels. Um, we had talked on Cleveland and Detroit. Cleveland's kind of come from the dead, and Detroit's fading fast. And then Seattle has been really kind of a nice surprise out west. I think everyone kind of thought that they were going to be done for, and they've really kind of really played amazing down the stretch to go 9-1. So, do I want to see the big dumper in the playoffs against us? Not really, but I think it's cool that Seattle is going to have an opportunity to make a run because that team, I feel like, always fizzles on that whenever they make the playoffs. So, I hope that they go on a nice run until they meet the Red Sox and we take care of them.
I agree. No, I agree 100%. And the biggest thing for me is Toronto needs these games as bad as we do. So it's good to see us go up against, and again, it's still top of the eighth. We have guys on second and third right now with two out. So you still got a couple innings to go, but it's good to see us playing well against these teams at home, in their own home stadium. So I'm looking forward to, a possible postseason with the Red Sox and see how far we can get riding the big hog.
And let's see, when is the last game of the season? Is it Sunday? It's Sunday? So
Think so.
we will know next week when we come back to the pod on Monday where we are, what's going on, and kind of talk about where that matchup is going. So enjoy the stretch run. I know, Sammy, you are. I know anybody who's interested in this playoff race is gonna be interested as well. So let's hope for a very fruitful end of the season for the Red Sox. And let's make a run, and maybe we can get Roman Anthony back in time to help contribute to a World Series win.
Agreed. Agreed. I would love to see us go from worst to first again. That would be nothing but kindness to my heart or chicken soup for the soul, as they say.
I think it's interesting to talk about one team that is, going to be, ending their regular season and starting the postseason to a team that is miraculously starting their preseason, which is always funny for this team to start their preseason in September. But a little bit of a
Quick
Bruins
break,
study.
quick break, quick break. The Red Sox just went up 7-0. Carlos Narvaez with a 3-run home run, 408 feet to right center field.
See, Carlos Navarro says can't move on to the Bruins yet. You gotta give the Sox their due.
You
So,
got to give the
hey,
Sox their due, baby. Well,
hey,
we
I'll take
gave you their
I'll
due, Navarez. Thank you very much,
let's
buddy. Just
take
gave
take
us the
care of
wiggle room.
business. Take care of
Take
business.
care of business.
Maybe by the end of this pod we'll know what the result of the game is the final. So we'll see. But yeah, moving on to the Boston Bruins. They started their postseason earlier, or postseason, excuse me, the preseason. Postseason might be difficult for this team this year, but they've started their preseason, and so far they've had two games. They are 1-1. They played against the Washington Capitals and lost to them, basically 5-2. It was kind of you're not seeing all the normal guys play. It's just I think this is something you see all the time in hockey. You see what you have with the guys you have, and they're just kind of doing what they did. The second game against the Rangers was a 5-4 game with an overtime winner. Interestingly enough, Zadorov was the one that scored the winner in OT, and just kind of legit just walked off the ice. But I think the biggest thing that I've kind of noticed with the Bruins, and I haven't watched intently yet, it's only been 2 games in the preseason, was our friend David Pastrnak has not yet been seen, and it seems like he just returned to practice recently, and it sounds that he has an undisclosed injury and something that you know may have been bothering him back to last season. But the curious thing is he going to need to be managed and watched throughout the season because it's something that, if he's going to need to be managed and, looked at through the season, how is that going to impact this team? Because he is their best offensive player. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like for this team. I think this team is going to have a long season. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for development with these young players on the team. But there's a lot to be desired with where the Bruins are heading. I think that they're unfortunately not a playoff team right now, and we really got to see what they have. Almost kind of like where we are with the Patriots at this point, just seeing what we can develop and get better year by year. Um, I would love for the Bruins to be Stanley Cup contenders, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I haven't watched, a lot of it, but as far as, the Pastrnak injury goes, if, it's one of those things where it's one of those lingering issues, it doesn't bode well, knowing that he's spending his preseason trying to, heal his injury rather than getting stronger and working on the things to get his game better rather than getting himself ice ready. So, it's probably going to be a long season for the Bees. Again, I'm not your resident Bees guy. I don't know a lot about hockey, so I can't speak much on the topic. Um, I just, if anything, just like you said with the Patriots, just to see progression. They got some young guys through the draft. Let's see what they can do with them and try and build up a farm team again like they once did down over here in Providence.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a couple seasons of a rebuild here. So let's see what we got. Let's see who's part of our future, and then let's take it from there. But speaking of future, there's a team who I think will be taking a step back this season, regardless of, you know, what's been going on. And it's not because they don't want to be competitive. I think the Celtics are smart to take a step back coming forwards here. And I think the reason why it's smart for them to take a step back is based on the way that this whole new CBA is orchestrated with the second apron, it behooves them to not be a tax team. See what you have with some of these young kids this year or new additions. We have a lot of guys who have been signed who may have not gotten large opportunities in the past and are going to get large opportunities this year. But I think the big elephant in the room with the Celtics is Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, if you guys are unaware, was on First Take this past week on ESPN and confirmed that he has not ruled himself out for a return to the NBA action this coming year. He said that he is 19 weeks removed from his injury and he is literally going out and rehabbing 6 days a week. And one of the other things that he's also been doing is while he has been traveling for things like I know he traveled for someone's wedding recently, he is literally doing what he's doing on the road and then coming back, and he spent his entire offseason in Boston, which is not something that he's accustomed to doing. So, do I love the fact that he has a target for himself on coming back this year? Yeah, I absolutely think he should. Every athlete that gets injured should be motivated to come back. I'm still going to stand by the stance of maybe that's not the best move for him or for the Celtics for him to come back, but also you don't punt on any championship opportunities. So could they come back with him and potentially make a run? Potentially, but I think this is not the team to make a run with. I think this is a team to see what you have for the long term, see who's a long-term piece, who's someone that you want to get rid of, and then start rebuilding after you have that 1 year where you're under the tax. So that's my take on what I think the best part of the Celtics season will be. If it ends up happening that they, end up going on a run and that's, what we end up walking away with and we find out who's here for us and who's not, then that's a double win. But I don't have championship expectations this year, and that's not because I don't think the Celtics are, I just don't think that they have enough on the roster to get there even with Tatum coming back.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, I know with having Drew Holiday, having Porzingis and JT and JB out there, that was pretty much kind of unstoppable. Um, but that's not to say, not having Porzingis or Drew on the team and just having the two J's and maybe someone else could have gotten the job done because it very well could have gotten the job done. As we know, Porzingis was out for a majority of that postseason run anyways. For me, it's when is Jason Tatum going to be ready? And how do you slowly progress him back into gameplay? If he's ready in March and he's done all of his drills and he's done his resistance and the doctors are, doing their things and doing their tests and seeing how much resistance that Achilles is taking and it's holding and he's, you know, going hard in practices. I don't see why they should not play him. I see a minute restriction for sure because he's coming off of an Achilles injury. But other than that, I don't see why they should hold him at all. It just that to me just doesn't make sense. The minute restrictions, yes, but bringing him back when he's ready, I think they should.
Yeah, I mean, I trust the team to do the right thing for Jason Tatum and to not put him out there if they feel like it's a risk. So I'm going to trust the team. I'm going to trust Brad. I'm going to trust Joe, and we'll take it from there. Last thought on the Celtics and Tatum. Dude looks fucking swole right now. He is jacked and he is just adding muscle onto his frame. So I'm excited for whenever he does come back, whether that's this upcoming season or the following season once we know that he's officially 100%, because that dude is going to absolutely dominate this league. All right. I think we're ready for my favorite segment of the week, where we talk about the things that annoy us, the things that we hate, the things that make us go, yeah, oh. And then we have the things that are stupendous, wondrous, the things that make me want to get up out of my chair and yell, oh yeah! I think we got only one oh yeah this week. So Sam, take it away.
Yeah, really, honestly, it's just September baseball, meaningful baseball coming back. Yesterday's game, I didn't, I refused to leave my seat and go to the bathroom from like the seventh inning on because of superstitions and just having that back again, I think for me it's been deprived from my heart for a very long time. So I'm very glad to see the Sox winning.
2021.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. And even then, I mean, that was kind of a fluke, some will call it.
It
But
was.
I just like to see them back in contention, and it warms my heart that they have this very young core that they can build on. And not only are they doing that, but they're actually exceeding expectations beyond what anyone else thought, besides me.
Quick yeah-oh. Getting out of Gillette, Route 1, such a mess. Yeah-oh. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it.
Will
But
always be like that.
it's just terrible. But a road that also has traffic and is the Mass Pike. And I think coming down the pike, we got a couple things coming down for us. We got the Patriots versus Carolina Panthers Sunday at 1 o'clock. The Red Sox after tonight's game. Today is for us it's the 24th. They got one more game against Toronto and then three games set against Detroit over the weekend. And
And
then we
that's
got the
it.
Bruins. We got the Bruins and Flyers on Saturday for another preseason game. So buckle up. End of the season's about to happen, and let's go Red Sox. Let's go Red Sox. Let's go Red Sox.
Hopefully we're all smiles here next week and I'm wearing my nice Red Sox shirt getting ready for postseason ball.
Yeah, we'll give you a nice little postseason preview, regardless of whatever happens. And near, far, wherever you are, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you all next week.
And of 12, we'll have a full cast next week. Look forward to seeing you.
See ya.